What's up, guys? We're back with a full slate of NBA action here on Saturday, February 1st. We're going to break down every NBA game tonight. We're also going to look at a couple of the biggest NCAA basketball games on the slate. We're going to look at bets on the side and over-under, and make sure to check that pinned comment throughout the day to see if there's any changes as injury news and player availability is confirmed. Guys, it's not looking like the best night out there. It looks like a very, very possible 1-3 day in the pinned comment. Denver, not a very good game from them. They end up barely, getting a close win there against 76ers. Toronto -3. They came out and looked terrible against the Chicago Bulls, who didn't even have Zach LaVine. We were on the Pelicans +11. We got that late news about Zion not playing. That didn't scare us off too much, and New Orleans comes through getting a very close game, a Jason Tatum game winner effectively in that one. So we'll take the Pelicans win there. We've got the Warriors -1. That game's still going, but they're in the third quarter, and Golden State not having a great time. They're down by 18 right now, so not impossible for them to come back, but it's looking pretty unlikely. So unfortunately, the pinned comment plays not working out, but the premium picks over at Stump the Spread looks like we're going to sweep the entire day, guys. First up, our free pick, the email pick, the pick that was under the free picks tab there at Stump the Spread was the Indiana Hoosiers at +12. They end up losing, but losing by only 5 there to Purdue. So a win there for us against the spread. We also, guys, had Canisius +3.5 as a premium. They ended up losing that game by 1. That gives us the cover and win on that one as well. We had Akron +1.5, a straight up blowout win there for Akron. That line looked crazy to me, and turns out it was crazy. The Zips are an insanely good offensive team. We also had Yale -2.5, so that was an earlier game. They ended up winning that game by 7, so nice to get off to such a good start. And the NHL picks are looking very good as well, guys. The Buffalo Sabres coming through for us, and also, guys, the Colorado Avalanche. That's a game that's still technically going on, but they're in the third period, and they're up 4-0. So I think we can pretty safely put that on the board as a win. That would be a 6-0 or 5-0 day in terms of premium plays, and a 6-0 day for everybody that took the time to visit stumpthespread.com. So you definitely want to get over there, guys. Get on that email list. Check into signing up for a premium pick package if that's something that you're interested in. We cover all the major sports right now: NBA, college basketball, UFC, NHL. We've got Super Bowl plays coming soon. Obviously, we're on a pretty sick run right now, so this is a great time to sign up for a premium package. So definitely get over there, at least to look at the free picks and at least to get on that free email list. I don't want you guys missing out on any of that free information. Do me a big favor, guys. Hit the like button and subscribe to the channel if you're new around here. I really appreciate it. The likes and the subscribers really help these videos get promoted out there and help this channel to grow. I really appreciate everybody that does that. Also, comment below with any bets you're looking at today. We'll give you our best advice on all of them. We do our best to respond to every single comment every single day, and we eventually do respond to every single solitary comment on the site. So do me a favor, put your favorite picks down there, and I will do my best to get back to you, before those games happen and get you the best information that I have. As always, our favorite picks will be in the pinned comment down below. Now let's get into our first game of the day. We got the Atlanta Hawks going on the road here to take on the Indiana Pacers. Atlanta comes into this game not having a great time recently. They've lost, 6 in a row, 7 in a row? It's getting pretty brutal. They haven't been fully healthy, and they've been playing some tough teams. I mean, their last 3 have been at Cleveland, against Houston, and at Minnesota. So it hasn't been easy, and they haven't really been at full strength. It's not like they've been playing insanely well either. I gotta, at least mention that. Trae Young not having the best day. Reese Shea had a great day there. He put up, 30 points? Yeah, 11 of 14 from the field. He went on a long stretch there where he didn't miss a shot to start the game, but none of that was enough, guys, against the Cavaliers. Atlanta just, if they're not going to be at full strength, obviously with Jalen Johnson out for the rest of the season, they're basically not going to be at full strength for the rest of the year, and I just don't expect them to have that much success with this, now limited-looking roster. They're doing what they can. They shot 33% from 3, so not amazing, but they just really didn't have a prayer there against the Cavaliers. They had 0 answers out there for the rebounding of Jarrett Allen. Mobley had a big day as well, 16 points, 10 boards there, and yeah, they had no answers for Garland or Donovan Mitchell. So it's gonna be rough here down the stretch. We've got guys like Ty Jerome coming off the bench for Cleveland, dropping 20 points, and the Cavaliers won this game comfortably despite shooting only 33% from long range. So just a tough night out there for the Atlanta Hawks. So they're in a bounce back spot here for sure, playing an Eastern Conference opponent once again, but we'll see what they can do. The injury report's still not looking that promising. Trae Young is on there. He's on there pretty often. It's, a little bit, precautionary. He's probable for this game with his ongoing, a sore hamstring, but more maybe importantly, or more likely to be, people actually sitting out for this game. We've got Bogdanovich. He's out for personal reasons. He won't play in this game on Saturday, and Clint Capella dealing with his back issue. He's not going to be available either. So definitely not going to be the full strength Atlanta Hawks here as they go on the road to take on the Indiana Pacers, who are 26-20 on the year. They've won 4 out of their last 5 overall. They're fresh off a nice 133 to 119 win there against the Pistons. So good stuff there. They did not have any sort of slump, after coming back from Paris. So good stuff there from the Pacers. They had to love what they got, from Siakam in that game. He's been playing out of his mind pretty quietly. 15 of 21 from the field. He scored 30, 30 points exactly for Halliburton and 37 there for Siakam. So dominant stuff. Also 24 for Miles Turner, a big game from him. We saw the Pacers shoot 50% from 3 in that game. They did a good job on the boards. Just a lot of positives there for the Indiana Pacers, who weren't even at quite full strength for that game. They've really turned things on, guys. They've been climbing the standings out there in the East. So we'll see what we get from them by the end of the regular season. Right now, we do see both Mathurin and Nembhard on the injury report. Nembhard, guys, dealing with that back issue. He's questionable for this game. He hasn't played since that second game there in Paris, and he played well in that game, but not really a whole lot of clarity on when he's going to come back. A back thing can just be so sketchy. Mathurin dealing with an illness. He's questionable for this game. He also hasn't played since they were in Paris. So I would guess that he's nearing a return. I'd be a little bit surprised if he missed that much time. But obviously, guys, illnesses this time of the season are going to be sweeping through the NBA. So going to keep an eye on that injury report. But right now, my guess would be that Mathurin would play and Nembhard would probably end up sitting this game out. So looking at the numbers for this one, guys, the Pacers, 7.5-point favorites. We've got a total of 239.5. The Hawks, 11-14 against spread on the road. 10-15 against spread after a loss. They're also 28-22 the over. The Pacers 10-10-1 against the spread at home, 12-13 against spread after a win. 25-20-1 to the over. So if you wanted to take a flyer here on this being a super high scoring, early afternoon game, you could take over 239.5. That just seems like a ton of points to me. I'm going to be leaning more here towards the Pacers at -7.5. I don't think either one of these plays are going in the pinned comment, though. I don't have a ton of faith in the Pacers still, despite the fact they're playing so much better recently. I just worry about them here still a little bit. And Atlanta can be a feisty team, but I think they lost a lot of their fire here with Jalen Johnson going down and still not being at full strength there in terms of their second unit. Next on the docket, guys, we're looking at the Orlando Magic going on the road to take on the Utah Jazz. The Magic come into this game fresh off another loss, guys. They've now lost 2 in a row, and what is that up to now? What is that, 7 out of their last 8 overall? They're now a game below 500. It's getting really sketch out there for the Magic, who we thought would be back, killing it once they had, Banchero and Franz Wagner back, but that just has not been the case so far. We saw them give up 23 points, 7 assists, and 5 rebounds there to Scoot Henderson, and they lost their last time out at Portland. So that wasn't a great look, and we saw Portland continue to play really well. We did see some pretty disturbing behavior continue there from Cole Anthony, who didn't have a very good game shooting the ball, but he almost broke 2 more guys' legs in the game. So something needs to be done about his diving across the court into people's legs with such reckless abandon. Like, it is out of control. You cannot be doing that. I don't care. Maybe you could give me, maybe in the playoffs, I'll give you a little bit more leniency. You can be diving for balls like a crazy person, but this is insane, guys. Like, you already broke one dude's leg. You broke his leg. You didn't, you crash into him, he rolled an ankle, whatever. You broke his freaking leg. He's launching himself like a missile across the floor. Like, it's insane stuff. Something's got to be done. I don't think anything will be, but something needs to be done about him. Paolo Banchero played okay, 21 points, but 10 of 23 from the field and a -23. Franz Wagner didn't play terrible, but not great. And Anthony Black looked terrible. He looked completely lost out there. So a bad game there for the Orlando Magic. They're going to be looking to bounce back here. We do see Jalen Suggs still on the injury report. He's listed as questionable for this game against the Jazz. He hasn't played since back on the 25th against Detroit and only played 16 minutes in that game. So poor guy dealing with a lot of injuries. He's another dude that plays with a very high motor. So things can go wrong. You are a little bit more likely to get hurt when you do that. We'll see what Orlando can do here going on the road to take on this Utah Jazz team that continues to just tank things out. They're fresh off a 138-113 loss there against the Timberwolves. They just haven't kept things to single digits in 4 games? Yeah, 4 games in a row they got beat by more than at least double digits, and then they had that game where they lost by only 9 at the Oklahoma City Thunder. So it's been really rough for the Jazz. Obviously a team that could be sellers here at the trade deadline. I would love for them to free guys like Colin Sexton, John Collins, maybe even Walker Kessler. Lauri Markkanen just got locked up, so he will not be moved. But Jordan Clarkson, I'd love to see him on a different team. Even somebody like Keontae George, it would be cool to see on a different team. So free all these guys, Utah Jazz. Do the right thing. I know you guys want to tank this season anyway. Let's see if we can get these dudes to some contenders and let them play some meaningful basketball, especially Colin Sexton, guys. His talent's really being wasted out there. So looking at the numbers for this game, the Jazz are getting 5.5 points. We've got a total of 216. Orlando 9-16 against spread on the road. They're 9-14-1 against spread after a loss. They are 29-22 the under. Utah 8-12 against spread at home. 16 and 19 against spread after a loss. They are 25, 20, and 1 to the over. So no real lean here on the over-under, guys, but I do think this is finally, probably, hopefully for them, a bounce-back spot here for the Orlando Magic, who just need to be winning some games at some point. I mean, this is a healthy Utah Jazz team, so they can be a little bit troublesome, and Orlando, not a team that necessarily puts up tons of offense. Like, they're very, very dependent on Franz Wagner and Paolo Banchero to put up the vast majority of their offense, so we'll see what happens in this one, guys. I am leaning towards the Magic at -5.5, but I am still a little bit concerned about this game, and all the trends, kind of point towards this being a bit of a sketchy spot there for Orlando, regardless of, everything else. On the docket, guys, we're looking at the Denver Nuggets. They're coming off of a game last night against the 76ers. They're now in Charlotte to take on the Hornets. Denver comes into this game, like I said, fresh off of a win, but it was a 137-134, very, very hard-fought win. We saw Russell Westbrook leave this game very early on. He only ended up playing, 25 minutes, so I guess it wasn't that early on, but a hamstring issue, hamstring tightness. He's listed as questionable. There's no shot we see Russell Westbrook back for a bit, guys. They're not going to be messing around with the hamstring issue. He's proven that he's very, very important to this team. They are not going to be messing around with that whatsoever. So, looking at how everybody else did in this game, Jokic, 28 points, 13 assists, 9 rebounds, so just short of a triple-double there. Not his best plus-minus ever, though. He was actually even. Jamal Murray continues to absolutely cook. He played 40 minutes in the game, had 31 points, was a plus-13. 0-4 from 3, but 7-7 from the free throw line. We did see everybody else on the Nuggets shoot the ball really, really well from deep. 4 of 5 there, or 3 of 5 there for Christian Brown. A lot of good stuff. Michael Porter Jr., Jokic himself shot good from 3. As a team, they shot 52.2% from long range. So a lot of positives there for the Nuggets. You'll love to see that, but overall, guys, they should not be playing that close of a game against the 76ers. They could not slow down Tyrese Maxey. They allowed the 76ers to shoot 52.5% from 3. Yabusele had a massive day, guys. He was 4 of 7 from 3. Also, 28 points overall. Crazy, crazy stuff. So, yeah, Denver definitely got to tighten things up here on the second half of a back-to-back. Got to play some better defense. We'll see if they can do that here. The injury report, we just have Westbrook on there. There's no way he's going to play. I would assume everybody else will be good to go. Jamal Murray's been playing the second half of back-to-backs, although he did just play 40 minutes, so we are a little bit concerned about him. So we'll see what's going on here as they head on the road to take on the Charlotte Hornets, who've lost 3 in a row and 5 out of the last 6 overall. They're fresh off of an 8-point loss there against the Clippers, and things have not been great here for the Hornets. Obviously, LaMelo Ball going down, really a bummer for everybody, and definitely a bummer here for this team. I mean, Miles Bridges did what he could. He put up, 27? Yeah, 27 points there against the Clippers, but not enough. Not a great team they're running out there right now. I would hope that they'll find a way to be relevant maybe next season, but clearly things not pointed their way. They only shot 23% from 3. They did a good job on the boards, I guess, but really just not a lot of firepower out there when Ball is not available. And he's not going to be available for this one, guys. See the LaMelo Ball out, Mark Williams out, Cody Martin out, and Josh Okogie all listed as out. Will they be out for this game? I mean, it is a back-to-back spot here, so we'll see. We don't know for sure, but yeah, definitely LaMelo Ball going to be out for this game. Mark Williams seems pretty likely to be out for this game, but not 100% sure. Cody Martin probably going to be out with that sports hernia, and Josh Okogie, guys, hamstring tightness. He is not going to be back for a bit here, I wouldn't think. So, looking at the numbers for this game, the Hornets are getting 14 points. We've got a total of 222.5. Denver 12 and 13 against the spread on the road, but 7 and 2 against the spread on no rest. They're also 30 and 17 to the over. Charlotte 12, 11 and 1 against the spread at home, 5 and 2 against the spread on no rest. They're 28 and 16 to the under. So could not have more widely varying trends here towards the over-under. In terms of the side, guys, losing Westbrook probably isn't the biggest deal in this specific matchup. I think there's even guys on the Denver Nuggets bench that can outplay a lot of the Charlotte Hornets starters. So I'm going to side here with Denver as huge favorites. I don't love these huge spreads. I usually need, a big reason there, like, fading the Celtics on after a win or something like that. But I definitely think this is a good spot to, take the opposite of the Charlotte Hornets to fade the Charlotte Hornets here and give me the Denver Nuggets at -14. But this is a pretty small lean. Hey guys, jumping in here with a quick ad break. This is a great time to sign up for StompTheSpread.com. Signing up for a premium membership gets you access to our top confidence plays on all the major sports. We're currently covering NCAA basketball, the NBA, NHL, UFC, and the NFL. We have a team of professional cappers that work extremely hard putting in the research on these games every day so you don't have to. We make things very easy for you with pick notifications directly to your phone and unit sizes assigned to each play so you can see where our confidence level is on every individual matchup. To test out the service before you buy, join our free email list, get the occasional free or premium pick straight to your inbox. Just click the link in the description to sign up for a free account. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel if you're new. Now guys, back to the games. Next on the docket, we're looking at the Brooklyn Nets going on the road to take on the Houston Rockets. The Nets come into this game fresh off of a rare win. They got a 104-83 win there at the Charlotte Hornets. There's lots of weird rumors swirling about the Nets. We just don't know what they're going to do here at the trade deadline. I mean, you would think they'd be shipping a lot of guys out, maybe doing some buyouts, stuff like that, but we'll see what actually happens. I mean, in this win, we saw four starters scoring double figures. The one that did not was D'Angelo Russell, who was garbage out there, which I guess, color me shocked. But we saw a decent game out there from Keon Johnson, some decent stuff from the bench as well. But this is just not a very loaded team. Ben Simmons scoring in double figures, like, holy crap, he must be very motivated, and maybe he's really lobbying there for that buyout. We'll see what happens. I don't know, guys. It's tough. It's tough to say what's going to happen with the Brooklyn Nets. I definitely think this team is going to look much different and much worse after the trade deadline. So we'll see what goes on there. In terms of the injury reports, we see Cameron Johnson and Noah Clowney both on there for this game. Yeah, Cameron Johnson won't play in this game against the Rockets with that ankle issue. He's one of the main trade targets of a lot of big-name teams out there. We'll see if the Nets are willing to part with him. And also, guys, Clowney going to be out through the All-Star break with that ankle sprain. So not going to have him out there. So not the full-strength Brooklyn Nets as they go on the road to take on the Houston Rockets, who are fresh off of what has to be a pretty devastating loss there against the Memphis Grizzlies, who didn't even have Ja Morant in that game. Houston, 32-15 on the season, but they can still have games like that. They're back home for this one, so that should definitely help them out a little bit, but we'll see what goes on. I mean, in that game against Memphis, it was kind of predictable that we would see a big step back from guys like Dylan Brooks, although he played pretty well, 22 points. Jalen Green had 25. Alperen Sengun not being available is a huge deal for this team. I mean, Steven Adams stepped in, 10 boards, 11 points, but just not enough there at the end, and Houston loses this game by 1 despite shooting 40% from three-point range and shooting 8 more free throws. So not a great look there for the Rockets to end up losing this game. So they're definitely in a pretty big bounce-back spot. They come into this game relatively healthy. Sengun still on the injury report with that calf issue. He's questionable for this game. I doubt they're going to be really, hustling him back for a game against the Brooklyn Nets. So we'll see. I tend to think there's a good chance he might not end up playing in this game. So look at the numbers, guys. The Rockets are 14.5-point favorites. We've got a total of 214.5. Brooklyn 17-9-1 against spread on the road. They are 6-8 against spread after a win. They're also a significant under team. Houston 12-10 against spread at home. 10-4 against spread after a loss. They're 25-21-1 to the over. Guys, we're definitely taking the Houston Rockets in a bounce-back spot here. I don't think they have any problem being front runners. I think they're going to be super pissed after that, annoying loss there against not even the full-strength Grizzlies, a team they definitely wanted to beat. So give me the Rockets here. I know it's a huge number, but they're very good against spread after losses, and I think this is just a great spot to ride here with Houston against a tanking Brooklyn Nets team. Rolling right along here, guys, we're looking at the Washington Wizards going on the road to take on the Minnesota Timberwolves. The Wizards come into this game only 6-41 on the year, so clearly tanking, and they're doing a great job of it. They're fresh off a 134-96 loss there at the Lakers. I just ran across a very, very funny or very, very sad, depending on your perspective, compilation of videos on Twitter of it's just Kuzma airballing 3 after 3, just taking like the dumbest step back 3, fumbling his dribble, taking a dumb step back 3, and airballing it. And it was a long video, guys. It was a long video. So a lot of negatives right now for the Wizards in that blowout loss against the Lakers. Jordan Poole 5 of 15 from the field for 19 points, led the way for this team. They shot 22% from 3. They got to the line a ton. That's pretty embarrassing. Like, refs, just stop calling fouls for this team. Like, they're trying to lose. We don't want to watch the Wizards shoot 34 free throws under any circumstances. So no positives right now for the Wizards. I guess they come to this game relatively healthy. We do see Sarr there on the injury report. Brogdon continues to be out. I don't even know what the deal is going to be with him long term, but Sarr going to be out for this game with his ankle issue, and that poor kid has to wish he was back, not in the NBA. You're like, maybe I should have waited. Could I have ended up in any worse situation? So we'll see what they can do here going on the road to take on the Timberwolves, who are 27-21 on the year. They've now won 5 in a row. They blew out the Utah Jazz in their last game. They got a win against the Suns. So a 2-game road trip. Now they're back at home, and they get another cupcake game here going against the Wizards. The Timberwolves, in that win against the Jazz, we saw Anthony Edwards score 36 points. That has to feel pretty good. Julius Randle back to his old ways, guys. 6 points from him. He only played 10 minutes in the game, though, so that's something to definitely keep an eye on. Rudy Gobert doing whatever. Seeing Luka Garza get some nice minutes, score 16 points. Naz Reid, 12 points. He was a plus 35. Yeah, Rob Dillingham was a plus 23 and scored 19 points, and the Timberwolves shot 55% from three-point range. So a lot of positives there for Minnesota. They come into this game looking interesting. Interesting injury report here, guys. Maybe some positives, maybe some additions by subtraction here. We'll see. Mike Conley dealing with a thumb issue is questionable for this game. I think there's a decent chance he ends up playing. I mean, it would be his second straight game if he's out. And if we see Nickeil Alexander-Walker in the starting lineup instead, and the ball in Anthony Edwards' hands a little bit more against a terrible team, I don't think that's the end of the world. We also see Julius Randle out for this game with a groin injury. And to be honest, guys, I think that's addition by subtraction. I think they're better off with Julius Randle out. More Dillingham minutes, he looked really good. More Nickeil Alexander-Walker minutes, he looked really good. More Naz Reid minutes is never a bad thing. Luka Garza getting in the mix has looked really, really good. So I'm pretty happy with what I'm seeing from Minnesota right now. And they're 17.5-point favorites in this game. The Wizards are 7-13 and 2 against spread on the road. They're 15-23 and 2 against spread after a loss. Minnesota has been terrible at home this season, though, guys. They've been awful. They are 5-16-1 against spread at home. They are 12-14 against spread after a win. Regardless, guys, I'm taking the opposite of the tanking team here. The Wizards are so bad. I think we see Anthony Edwards have a big game. I think we see everybody from the Minnesota Timberwolves bench show out here at home. I think they win this game by 20, 25 points. This could even be one of those games where a team wins by 40. Give me the Timberwolves here. I don't know if I'm going to put a 17.5-point favorite in the pinned comment. That seems pretty egregious, but we'll have to see because I definitely think this is a spot you don't want to be on the Wizards. Normally, you see a huge number like this, you got to consider it, but I'm barely considering it at all in this situation. Next up, guys, we've got what could be one of the best games on the slate. We've got the Sacramento Kings going on the road to take on the Oklahoma City Thunder. The Kings, 24-23 on the season. They're not having a great time recently, losing 3 out of their last 4. Their last loss was at the Philadelphia 76ers, and this is the 5th game in their current, road stand, so that's not great. A loss at the 76ers. I mean, their only win over this span, and it was at the Nuggets, at the Knicks, at the Nets, and at the 76ers. So you probably figure you should win 2 of those, but I don't know. It's been a rough season there for the Kings. They're only 1 game over 500 now, and they're not having a great time. In that loss at the 76ers, guys, we saw Monk lead the way with 21 points. Sabonis only 13 points in 40 minutes. He did post a triple-double in the game, so I guess I can't talk too much crap, but bro, you got to score the ball. You got to score the ball. DeRozan, 19 points. That acquisition is looking like a disaster once again. De'Aaron Fox, kind of maybe asking to be traded or being asked if he would like to be traded and saying yes. So sounds like the Kings not going to re-sign him. That could be maybe the juiciest move here. I think De'Aaron Fox moves the needle for me way more than a Jimmy Butler trade. So we'll see what happens for this team, but things getting very, very sketchy out there in Sacramento right now. So we'll see what they can do in this game in terms of their injury report. They are fully healthy, so that's something positive, but man, where are their heads at right now? This is not where this team thought they were going to be at this point in the season. So we'll see what we get from the Kings as they go on the road here to take on the Oklahoma City Thunder, who are in a big bounce back spot. I mean, they're 37-9 on the year, but they're coming off a 116-109 loss there at the Golden State Warriors. Not a game I'm sure they were planning on even being very close. The Thunder in that game, we saw big stuff from SGA, although 18 of his points did come from the free throw line. So well, I mean, he drives to the basket a lot, so I'm not going to call him an unethical hooper yet, but he's on the list. Hartenstein, only 4 points, but 18 rebounds and 6 assists. 26 points from Jalen Williams. The bench, Isaiah Joe played great, but all of this was not enough. A lot due to the Thunder just struggling shooting the ball. They're only 9 of 39 from three-point range in the game. So that's usually not going to result in wins. Everybody's freaking out about the Warriors getting that win. I don't think that really matters. The Thunder just couldn't make a shot. So we'll see what they can do in this one. They come to this game fairly healthy. No, Alex Caruso obviously is, still a little bit tough, but they really just want him for the playoffs, guys. I don't think they care too much if he's available in the regular season. So we'll see what goes on there. Obviously, no Chet Holmgren coming back. He's progressing according to reports, but not going to be back yet. The Thunder, 9-point favorites in this game. We've got a total of 233.5. Sacramento, 9-12-1 against spread on the road. They're 8-12-2 against spread after a loss. They're also a slight over team, 24-21-2 to the over. The Thunder, 14-7-1 against spread at home. They're 4-4-1 against spread after a loss. They don't lose many games, guys. So we don't have a big sample size there. They are 24-21-2 to the over as well. So you could talk me into over 233.5. Sure, maybe. I don't know. Not a huge fan of that play necessarily, but I'm a big fan here of the Thunder at -9. I know it's another big favorite, guys, but I am not being talked out of this one. The Thunder are in a bounce back spot. They played terrible, couldn't shoot the ball in their last one. That's going to change here at home. Playing at home against Sacramento Kings team that is all kinds of messed up, guys. Nobody knows where they're going to be here in a couple weeks, and it could not even a couple weeks. It's much closer than that, actually. The trade deadline approaching quick. So we'll see what goes on here. Definitely think this is a great spot to be on the Oklahoma City Thunder at -9. This is definitely going in the pinned comment. Also, jump on this one early if you like it. This is a number that's definitely going to be on the move. Next, guys, we've got the lone nationally televised game of the day. We've got the Los Angeles Lakers going on the road to take on the New York Knicks. The Lakers come into this game fresh off a demolition there at the Wizards, a 134-96 win at Washington. Yeah, not too special, guys. I mean, you're supposed to win that game in walkaway fashion, and they did. 24 points from LeBron. We saw Anthony Davis sit that game out. Fairly obvious that he would sit that out. And yeah, it's good. I think that's a great spot to rest him. Shake Milton, 21 points off the bench. That's got to be nice to see. Yeah, just a lot of positives. Everybody played well. The Lakers shot the ball really well. They did a good job on the boards. Like, keep in mind, this is all against basically a practice team, though. So we'll see what they can do in this one. Obviously, a much more real game. The Lakers have been playing better, but wins against the Wizards and Hornets don't really get me too jazzed up. Beating the Warriors and the Celtics is a great look, though. So we'll see if they're building on that. They should be pretty healthy coming into this game. I mean, we do see people on the injury report, and most importantly, guys, Anthony Davis is on there. And yeah, I forgot. Yeah, that abdominal strain. So he won't be back for this game. They are not healthy. I take back what I said. Yeah, an abdominal strain. He won't be reevaluated for another, 4 or 5 days, it sounds like. And then we don't even know if he's going to be back at that point. LeBron, guys, he's listed as day-to-day, but he always is. I fully expect LeBron to play in this one. We also see Rui Hachimura there on the injury list with a calf issue, but he's probable for this one as well. We see Gabe Vincent listed as out. We're not too worried about that. Dorian Finney-Smith on the injury report, though, is definitely a concern. He's dealing with a shoulder issue. He's questionable for this game. They need him out there for sure. So we'll see who the Lakers actually have. Obviously, it's a big deal for them to be healthy. Having no Anthony Davis is obviously a big problem because really, who are they going to put out there on Karl Anthony Towns? Who are you going to put on Karl Anthony Towns? LeBron? That's really the only answer. And LeBron doesn't play defense anymore. Like, Jackson Hayes? Really? Jackson Hayes going to guard Karl Anthony Towns? Like, okay, guys. Jackson Hayes ain't making it out there on the perimeter. And if he does, I don't know what Cat's going to do to him, but it's not going to be pretty. So we'll see what happens for the Lakers as they go on the road here to take on the Knicks at Madison Square Garden. The Knicks are 32-16 on the season. They're fresh off a 10-point win there against the Denver Nuggets. This is their 4th straight home game, so they're getting very accustomed to being at home, and it's been a pretty good look, guys. A 23-point win over the Kings, a 40-point win almost over the Grizzlies, and a 10-point win there over the Nuggets. So now they get to play the Lakers with no Anthony Davis. At some point, this is starting to feel like a gift. I mean, in that game against the Nuggets, loved what we saw from Jalen Brunson putting up 30 points. A very good day out there from OG Anunoby. The Knicks shot the ball really well from 3, 41.2% from deep. They did a good job. Well, actually, they did an okay job on the boards. Not a great job. Definitely a little bit concerning there, but 15 assists from Brunson. Cat only 14 points. Not even a great day from him. So just a ton of positives there. They didn't even play them because Cat only played 30 minutes. So a lot of good things, stacking up right now for the Knicks. So we'll see what they can get done in this one. We do see Josh Hart on the injury report, but that's it. Everybody else is looking healthy, and Hart continues to be questionable with that knee issue, but bro is not missing games. Like, Josh Hart's going to be out there. So we're not worried about that. Very confident we're going to see the Knicks at full strength for this one. They are 9.5-point favorites. We've got a total of 227.5. The Lakers 10-13-1 against spread on the road, 12-13-1 against spread after a loss. They are 24-22 to the under. The Knicks 14-10-1 against spread at home, 15-15-1 against spread after a. They are also, guys, they're 26-21-1 to the over. I think this is another favorite spot, unfortunately, guys. I'm hating being on all these favorites, but when that's where the value is, that's where we've got to go. And I'm definitely taking the Knicks here at -9.5. No Anthony Davis for the Lakers is a nightmare, especially in this matchup. Like, Karl Anthony Towns is going to be able to do whatever he wants. Jalen Brunson, like, who's going to guard Jalen Brunson on the perimeter that's going to really mess him up too much? I don't know. Mikal Bridges will do great, or Josh Hart will do great, or OG Anunoby. Any of those guys can go on LeBron or whoever they need to. So I think it's going to be a really difficult day there for the Lakers. I think without Anthony Davis, they're probably not even going to be trying that hard to win this game. So definitely give me the Knicks here at home to win this game by double digits. Next up, guys, we're looking at the Miami Heat going on the road here to take on the San Antonio Spurs. The Heat come into this game 23-23 on the season, but fresh off of getting blown out there by the Cavaliers. Not a great look in that one. I mean, Hero did have 22 points, but it wasn't that efficient of a 22 points. Bam had 21, but they were not staying attached to the Cleveland Cavaliers. Like, Cleveland, way too good. We had the Cavaliers in that game. I think they were only 8-point favorites. That was a gift. That was a crazy one. I couldn't believe that one. So we'll definitely take it. Duncan Robinson playing pretty well there in the starting lineup. Terry Rozier playing great off the pine, but now is being investigated for something back in 2023 where apparently his playing patterns changed at some point when he was on the Hornets, and there was some suspicious betting activity. So we'll see what goes on with him. I'm not too worried about that situation since he's already been investigated by the league and everything, looked like it was fine. So I don't know what's going to happen there. But the Heat, guys, they need these wins. They're coming into this game fully healthy, so that's nice. Obviously, no Jimmy Butler, still embroiled in that whole disaster situation. So we'll see. Apparently, the Heat lowered their asking price. They really just want to get him out of town. He's going to get moved before the trade deadline. There's just no freaking way that he won't. So we'll see what happens here with the Heat as they go on the road to take on the San Antonio Spurs, who are fresh off a huge 144-118 blowout win there against the Milwaukee Bucks. Giannis had 35 points, but Wemby had 30 of his own, and just good stuff up and down the lineup there for the Spurs, who every once in a while this team just looks like it's actually good. Like, Castle put up 20 points, not the most efficient, but as a team they shot 48% from three. You're not going to see that every day. 24 points from Keldon Johnson off the bench. Bro was cooking. He was a plus 11. He was 4 or 5 from three, 10 of 15 from the field. Like, very, very good stuff. We even saw Chris Paul chip in 12 points. You don't see that every day. So, loving what we saw from the Spurs in the last one. Are they going to be able to carry it over to this game? Seems like a big ask, but it's not impossible. Definitely not impossible. They come into this one fully healthy, so that's a big deal for this team that's had some injury concerns, but not, a crazy amount of injury concerns. So, liking this spot for the Spurs, kind of at least. They're 1-point favorites here. We've got a total of 223.5. The Heat only 9-14 against around the road. 12-10 against spread after a loss. They are 26-20 to the over. The Spurs 10-14 against spread at home, 2-4 against spread on no rest. So we have to keep that in mind. That game they just won was last night. They're also 8-12 against spread after a win. They're 24-20 to the over. So we could definitely look at the over in this game. I also would shade just slightly towards the Spurs, but I really just think this is an over spot. I don't think we have to complicate this too much. Both teams showing trends towards the over. It's a kind of small number of 223.5. Over 223.5 is going to be my favorite play on this game. I definitely think we see them get to that number the vast majority of the time. And yeah, I mean, both teams can definitely score. I'm worried about the Spurs a little bit being in a letdown like shooting spot, but they're playing at home. The role players should continue to shoot the ball well. Next up, guys, we're looking at the Phoenix Suns going on the road here to take on the Portland Trail Blazers. Phoenix comes into this game. Well, they're actually still playing right now, but it's looking real bleak there for the Warriors in that one. So looks like the Suns are going to be coming off of a win, which a much needed win. They'll be 25-22 on the season. So not exactly having an amazing time, but they're finding a way to get the wins. We saw a pretty good day there from KD, pretty good day there from Devin Booker. So liking a lot of what we're seeing from the Suns, best players, but the rest of them, guys, the others not looking so great. Even Bradley Beal on the bench, like, he's doing good things every once in a while, but I don't know. Feels real weird. So we'll see what the Suns can get done in this one. They should be fully healthy coming into this game. I don't have any reason as of right now to think they're going to be missing anybody, but it is a back-to-back spot, so we could see, veterans like Kevin Durant potentially sit this game out. So we'll see what happens. No reason to expect that necessarily, but you have to know it's always a possibility. They're going on the road to take on one of the hotter teams in the NBA right now. The Portland Trail Blazers are 19-29 on the season, but they've won 6 out of their last 7 games. Their only loss in that stretch was a very competitive 10-point loss there against, 10-point loss against the Oklahoma City Thunder. They're fresh off of a blowout win there against the Magic. We've been riding these Portland Trail Blazers pretty hard lately, and it's been working out for us. I mean, against the Magic, we loved what we saw. Scoot had a big game. What did he put up? 23 points? Yeah, 23 points from Scoot, 22 from Aiden, who actually played hard. I don't know what got into his cornflakes, but he played really hard. 10 of 12 from the field, 8 rebounds, a plus 31. We saw Portland shoot the ball really well from 3, 12 of 25 from deep, and they did a good job on the board. So just a lot of positives out for the Portland Trail Blazers, and they come into this game pretty healthy. Jeremy Grant on the injury list still with that ankle issue. He's questionable, but other than that, they are healthy and rearing to go there in Portland, and they get to just sit there in Portland and wait for the Phoenix Suns to go from Golden State, go from San Francisco there to Portland. So not a terrible flight, but a flight nonetheless. We see the Blazers are getting 3 points here at home. We've got a total of 227.5. The Suns 9-13 against spread on the road, 2-5-1 against spread on no rest. They are also 5-18-1 against the spread after a win. Guys, this is going to be a system play, probably. Like, that's what it's looking like. Fading the Suns coming off a win might be a system play that's really close to being up there with a system play to fade the Celtics coming off of a win. Portland 13-11 against spread at home, 11, 6, and 1 against spread after a win. That's great. They're a slight under team as well, but I don't care about the over-under in this game, guys. What I do care about is taking the Portland Trailblazers for sure. Hammer it on the Trailblazers at getting +3. They'll probably win this game straight up, so if you wanted to take them on the money line, that definitely makes some sense to me. So definitely a play that's going in the pinned comment. This could even end up being a premium pick at stumpthespread.com, so we'll just have to wait and see. Now, guys, changing gears, we're going to head over and look at a couple of college basketball games to round out this video. First up, we've got the number 5 Florida Gators going on the road to take on the number 8 Tennessee Volunteers. Florida comes into this game playing pretty well. They've won their last 3 in a row. They got a nice home blowout 30-point win against Georgia in their last game. So not 30-point blowout wins, not something you see all the time, but yeah, pretty good stuff. The Gators shot 34% from 3. That'll definitely work. They dominated the boards. We saw great scoring, like 4 starters scored at least 14 points and had some good numbers coming off the bench as well. So liking that for the Gators. They come into this game. They're one of the best, offensive teams in the nation. They're great on the boards, and they play some really, really good defense. So a lot of positives there for Florida as they go on the road here to take on the Tennessee Volunteers, who are 17-4 on the season. They're actually fresh off of back-to-back losses. They lost a heartbreaker by only 1 basket there at Auburn, and they lost a tough one there, a 5-point game against number 12 Kentucky. So they've been playing the toughest teams in the nation, and it just hasn't been working out here lately. Now they've got another just really, really tough opponent on deck. We've liked what we've seen from Tennessee this season in general. I mean, Chaz Lanier, a monster for sure, but their numbers over the course of the season aren't necessarily off the charts. So looking at the numbers here for this game, the Volunteers are actually 4-point favorites at home. We got a total of 142.5. Florida 2-2 against the spread on the road, so not terrible. They're an under team, 13-7 to the under. Tennessee 8-4 against spread at home and 13-8 to the under. So first up, guys, I love under 142.5 in this game. Definitely a play that has a chance to end up in the pinned comment. But if you're asking me for a side, I definitely think you want to be with the Florida Gators getting 4 points here. This could be a very close game, but Tennessee, I think we could see their skid continue. Last but not least here, guys, we're going to be looking at number 20, Missouri. They're going on the road to take on number 14, Mississippi State in another big SEC showdown. The Tigers come into this game fresh off a big, big win there, an 83-75 win to right the ship after a really poor showing there at Texas. A good game there for Mizzou for sure. They needed that one to validate themselves as a team that deserves to be at least near the top 25. I mean, they shot the ball really, really well in that game. Obviously, playing at home can definitely help. 44% from deep. They also shot 39 free throws in the game, so definitely we're getting a very nice whistle. 26 points there from Tamar Bates. Pretty good stuff off the bench there for Caleb Grill, also putting up 22 points. So a big game there for Mizzou. They really, really needed it, but now they've got to prove it on the road, and that's not something they've really done a great job of this season. Over the course of the year, their offensive numbers look like they belong among the elite in the nation, but they're not a great rebounding team, and their defense, it's fine, but it's definitely not a defense. They're definitely not a defensive team that I would call elite. So we'll see what they can do here in a tough spot, going on the road to take on number 14 Mississippi State. The Bulldogs come to this game 16-5 on the year, but they're fresh off a loss. Kind of a heartbreaker, guys. They ended up losing 88-84 there against Alabama. A rough game. Not one you don't want to lose those close games against elite opponents. And brutal stuff. We saw an insane game out there from Josh Hubbard, putting up 38 points. You don't want to be depending on one guy too much, though. And I mean, Keshawn Murphy did put up 18 off the bench, but despite a 50% shooting day from the field, it just was not enough against the much more balanced attack, I'll say, of the Alabama Crimson Tide. So we'll see if the Bulldogs have a bounce back in them in this one. I mean, their season-long numbers look very, very good. Offensive numbers similar to Mizzou, but they're a very good rebounding team. They're also good on defense. Their ball movement is excellent. They obviously have a monster in Josh Hubbard that I think Missouri is going to struggle to defend. Mississippi State, they're 6.5-point favorites in this game. We've got a total of 149.5. Mizzou, 2-2 against spread on the road, so not terrible. 10-10 to the over/under. Mississippi State, 4-6 against spread at home, so not great at home, and 11-10 to the over. Guys, we're definitely taking Mississippi State here at -6.5. I don't trust Missouri on the road. They're going to have to prove it to me, and I don't trust them yet. So go ahead and give me the Mississippi State Bulldogs to get the job done in this one by at least 7. Not a play that's going to go in the pinned comment. That's all the games we have for today. Hit that like button for good luck on all of your bets. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. And most importantly, guys, get over to stumpthespread.com if you're interested in getting in on our red-hot premium NCAA basketball and everything else picks. I mean, sweeping the board yesterday. Crazy, crazy stuff. Let me know in the comments any questions you have on today's slate. Thanks for watching. You can click the link in the description, like I said, to check out stumpthespread.com. And we will see you guys tomorrow for more sports betting action.